Hey, welcome back to Stories in STEAM. This week we are going to look at Rapunzel. So this is called Keep It Simple, Rapunzel, the Fairy Tale Physics of Simple Machines. So this is part of the same series as The Three Little Pigs that we read last week. So it's still by Thomas Kingsley Troop. And we are going to be looking at simple machines. Do you guys know what a simple machine is? Or an example of a simple machine. So ramps and levers and screws, pulleys, all of those are types of simple machines. So we are going to learn all about those, okay? So keep it simple, Rapunzel, the fairy tale physics of simple machines. A little while back, in a place you've never visited, lived a witch. Her name was Dame Gothel. She grew the most amazing vegetables in her garden. One day, she caught her neighbor stealing a handful of turnips. The man said his wife loved turnips, and if he didn't bring her some to eat, she would die. Dame Gothel told the man he could have as many turnips as he wanted on one condition. The couple had to give her their firstborn baby. So the man agreed, and a few months after his daughter was born, the witch snatched her away. I should call you Turnip, Dame Gothel told the baby, but I'm going to call you Rapunzel instead, just because. Like other kids, Rapunzel enjoyed singing, reading books, and kickboxing, but unlike other kids, she spent every day locked in a tall tower. She was never allowed to come down, and she never saw more than her own backyard. Years went by. Rapunzel's hair grew long and strong. It was long enough for Dame Gothel to climb up. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair, the witch called. Okay, Rapunzel said. She hung her hair on a hook outside her window, and Dame Gothel grabbed it and started climbing. Little did they know, a prince named Dave was watching. He'd driven past the tower many times before and wondered about the girl living in it. So that's how the witch gets up there, Prince Dave said. She should build a ramp or some steps. Prince Dave sometimes watched farmers push their carts up ramps at his castle. The royal carpenters called the ramps a type of simple machine. Simple machines make work easier. Prince Dave really wanted to meet Rapunzel, so he waited until Dame Gothel left. And when the coast was clear, he snuck over to the tower, and in his witchiest voice he called, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. Why? Rapunzel called without looking out the window. You were just up here. Again, in his witchy voice, Prince Dave said, Yes, I know, dear. I think I lost a contact lens in your room. He wasn't sure his plan would work. Fine, Rapunzel said with a sigh, and she dropped down her hair. Come on up. In a few minutes, Prince Dave appeared at the window. Rapunzel gasped. Hey, who are you? She shouted. I'm Prince Dave, but please call me Dave, he replied. No one besides Dame Gothel had ever entered the tower before. Rapunzel put up her fists. Whoa, Prince Dave said. I'm not going to hurt you. I just wanted to meet you. Oh, Rapunzel said. Well, my name's Rapunzel. I don't get many visitors. None, actually, except Dame Gothel. So the witch keeps you locked up in here? Prince Dave asked. Rapunzel nodded. My whole life, so far, she said. I mean, the tower's nice and all. I read a lot, but I want to see the world, not just read about it. Prince Dave smiled. Then let's get you out of here, he said. Rapunzel gave the prince a quick tour of her room. She showed him her books, her guitars, and a kickboxing bag. How did you hang that heavy bag? Prince Dave asked. Easy, Rapunzel said. I used a screw. Prince Dave scratched his head, confused. Rapunzel grabbed a spare screw from her desk and held it up. You see, a screw is a simple machine. It's an inclined plane, like a ramp, wrapped around a cylinder. The ridges are called threads. When you twist a screw into a piece of wood, the ridges hold it in place. Okay, sure. And the pointy tip makes the screw go into the wood easier. Nailed it, Rapunzel said. She smiled and giggled. Prince Dave wanted to show Rapunzel the world, and Rapunzel wanted to see it. "I'll get some tools," the prince said, and he started to climb down her hair. "I'll build something to get you out of here." When he reached the ground, a turnip hit him in the head. Dame Gothel ran toward him, pushing a cart of turnips. "You!" she shouted. "Get out of here!" Prince Dave ducked as another turnip flew at him. He watched the witch push the cart. The wheel and axle made it easier for her to move the heavy load. "Hey, Rapunzel!" Prince Dave called. "The wheel and axle on that cart, are they another type of simple machine?" "Yes," Rapunzel shouted. "Now run!" So the young prince ran off, while Dame Gothel climbed up Rapunzel's hair. "You should not have let that boy up here," Dame Gothel said. "He's going to try to take you away." "I cannot let that happen," and she pulled a pair of scissors from her pocket. She opened and closed them multiple times. Scissors are a compound simple machine. Two sharp wedges work together to make cutting easier. Rapunzel backed up, but there was nowhere for her to go. Early the next morning, Prince Dave returned with his toolbox. "Rapunzel," he called quietly, "I brought some tools. Let down your hair so we can get you out of here." A few long strands of hair fell at the prince's feet. The problem? Rapunzel wasn't attached to them anymore. Rapunzel peeked shyly out the window. "Dame Gothel caught my hair," she cried. Prince Dave thought the new haircut looked pretty good. What do you guys think of her new haircut? Prince Dave said, "Don't worry, I've got all kinds of ideas." So he set his down in his toolbox, and it quickly sank in the mud. He tried to pull it up, but it wouldn't budge. "What's going on down there?" Rapunzel asked. "My tools are stuck in the mud," the prince answered. Rapunzel pointed at the fence around the witch's garden. "Grab one of those boards and set it on the rock," she said. "Then wiggle one end under your toolbox." Prince Dave did as he was told. "Now push down on the other end of the board," Rapunzel continued, "and your toolbox should lift out easily from the mud." Again, Prince Dave did as he was told, and with a push, he freed his toolbox. "Well, how did that—" "It's another simple machine," Rapunzel replied. "I read about it. It's called a lever. The board is the beam, and the rock is the fulcrum. Easy peasy." Rapunzel checked the clock. The prince was taking too long. Dame Gothel would be coming soon with breakfast. "What's the plan, Dave?" "I want to build something, but I didn't bring any woods, and the fence boards aren't thick enough." "Did you bring an axe?" Rapunzel asked. Prince Dave opened his toolbox. He showed her the small axe he had. "Perfect," Rapunzel said. "An axe is a type of wedge. Wedges are simple machines, and let me guess, they make work easier." "That's right. Get chopping." So Dave chopped down the tree. Then he chopped down another tree. And a little bit later, he had shaped the trees into planks. "Pack your bags, my lady. I'm building you a ramp." "Yet another simple machine," Rapunzel exclaimed. "A ramp is an inclined plane. It makes it easier to move objects to different levels." Prince Dave built the ramp while Rapunzel gathered her things. But he hadn't cut enough wood, so the ramp only reached partway up the tower. "Sorry about that," he said. "No problem," Rapunzel said. She tossed 3 suitcases out the window, and they landed on the ramp and slid down. "Well, that worked for your luggage," Prince Dave said, "but what about you? You can't throw yourself onto the ramp like a suitcase." Rapunzel's face brightened. She had an idea. "We should build an elevator. I've got a pulley up here." "Pulleys are a type of simple machine," the prince said. "Yes, pulleys make it easier to raise and lower loads." "How do you know so much about physics?" he asked. Rapunzel smiled and dropped a box full of books onto the ramp. "I've been locked in a tower my whole life, Dave. Like I said, I've read a lot." So Prince Dave built a small seat, and while he did that, Rapunzel attached the pulley to the beam above her window. "Wait, one problem. I don't have any rope," the prince said. Rapunzel held out the rest of the long hair that had been cut from her head. "I'm way ahead of you," she said, and she threw her long hair over the pulley. The prince attached one end of the braid to the seat, and when he pulled the other end, the seat rose into the air. Rapunzel hopped on, and Prince Dave quickly lowered her to freedom. But there was trouble. "Uh-oh, here comes the witch!" Dame Gothel was running across the yard, shouting and throwing turnips. Rapunzel and the prince picked everything up and raced to the waiting car. They couldn't wait to live happily ever after. Rapunzel, come back here, Dame Gothel yelled. You won't escape that easily. I just did, Rapunzel said, and with the help of simple machines, it was easy. So that was Keep It Simple, Rapunzel. We learned all about some cool simple machines. So I have a simple machine here today that I borrowed from Lake Metro Parks that I thought we would look at and see how it works. All right, are you guys ready to see it? So does anyone know what type of simple machine this is an example of? Just like Dame Gothel's cart, this is a wheel and axle. This one specifically is a replica, or a smaller version of a water wheel like the one that used to be at Chair Factory Falls. When the water fills the little buckets, the wheel will start to turn. Okay, so I have a pitcher of water, and I am going to pour it down the spout. It's sort of like a ramp, and that will make the buckets start filling up with water. And when they do, the force of that will make the wheel start to spin like this. So that's how a water wheel works. You can see it starts spinning and it creates energy, and then that energy can be used to do work. So a good example of this, if you hike on the Greenway Corridor, you can go down to Chair Factory Falls. So there used to be a factory there, and I bet you guys can guess what they made at this factory. What do you think they made? If you guessed chairs, you're right. They made chairs at the Chair Factory, and it was right by a waterfall. So there was a giant water wheel, and the water, as it went over the falls, would make the water wheel turn, and that's how they got energy for the factory to make these chairs and stuff. So you can still see the wheel's not there anymore, but you can still see the falls, and you can hike down, and you can see there's an interpretive board down there that shows what the water wheel used to look like, so you can see that, which is pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed seeing our water wheel and learning about simple machines, and that you get a chance to try some simple machines like ramps or wheels and axles and stuff at home this weekend. And we hope to see you next week. Remember, we have new packets every Monday. We are open for browsing and summer reading is going. So if you haven't signed up for summer reading yet, there's still plenty of time to do that. You guys can sign up and get started. And we have our packets here, but it is all online on our page. Remember to continue liking us on Facebook and following us on YouTube. And we will see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.